Hello, welcome to Starchaeology Tarot, home to tarot readings for anyone ready to dig deep and break inner ground. I'm Desi, your Starchaeologist, aka tarot reader, and I love you. I am so grateful you're here. If you're here for the first time, welcome. This is not a coincidence. If you're returning, shout out to the Starchaeology constellation. I'm so grateful you're part of the cluster. Before we begin, I just want to say if you're hoping to receive blessings from this reading, start by giving a blessing. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel right now. Give the abundance you wish to receive. Now let's begin. Today we are doing a Zodiac reading for all 12 signs. I encourage you to use the timestamps below to receive messages for your sun sign, moon, rising, and Venus, for a complete picture of the unique puzzle that you are. Let's start digging. Hi Aries, welcome to your October reading. Okay Aries, we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse, the Nine of Cups in reverse, and the Wheel of Fortune. Wow. Aries, the message for you this month is not to be discouraged by things not going your way, by certain wishes not being fulfilled. It may feel like the lack or absence of wish fulfillment this month is evidence that they will never be fulfilled, or evidence that things cannot go your way, or things aren't going well for you, or that you don't get what you want. You can come up with a myriad of stories, of negative narratives to tell yourself that result from the evidence that you may be seeing. And I put evidence in quotes because it's not necessarily evidence of the future at all. I'm seeing that you are in this reverse Page of Pentacles place in October, which is a place of, I think this means different things for some of you, but some of you, it's putting off the beginning of some new education, putting off a new start of something, maybe like resisting being in a student mindset in some way, whether it's a literal student mindset or it's more figurative. Finding yourself in a position where you are learning something again, or where you're humbled, and you have to admit what you don't know. I want to say it's something in the realm of career, finances, your home, your literal home, domestic life. Now we said finances, money. Something just about your physical earthly experience, because this is a Pentacles card. But there's pages often can represent not only being a student or having a younger energy, but building a foundation. This is like saying, Page of Pentacles is like saying earth of earth energy. So it could even just be saying that there's a real lack of grounding, of like physical grounding, regarding in certain realms of your life that are those realms that like you need to exist on the planet Earth. So again, career, money, your home life, your body, your health. It feels like everything's kind of turned upside down right now, and you don't have grounding, you don't have that foundation, that earth of earth energy, really deep rooting in something. And what makes that harder is this feeling like things are not going your way, or that wishes are not being fulfilled. The piece of advice is the Wheel of Fortune, which is such a great message, because it's a good reminder that this isn't on you. This lack of wish fulfillment isn't on you. It's not necessarily a reflection on your lack of effort, or what you're putting out to the universe, what you're putting forward, what action you're taking. This is a reminder that you are constantly co-creating with another force, and we often lose awareness of this balance. Either we put everything to that force, we give everything, turn everything over to that force, and then complain when things don't go our way, or we take too much responsibility. We cross a boundary. We go beyond what actually is ours to control and what's ours to take care of, and we only blame ourselves when things are not going our way. There's an element this month, Aries, of destiny that is coming into play. And what's more important is that you surrender to flow that is outside of your control, because that's a surrendering to destiny. The sooner you accept things that you are destined for, even if it's something as simple as like this wish not happening for me immediately, or, you know, something not going my way this month, the sooner that you can melt into that, then the sooner or the more easily you allow this momentum to take you to the place where your wishes are fulfilled, or your next wish is fulfilled. The more you try digging your heels in the sand in the midst of this rapid, this river with this rapid current, which is how we think of destiny in this sense, you know, really what you're delaying is your progress by not surrendering. So this is a message that's like, go with the flow to a certain degree, control what you can control, but then acknowledge that mysterious force that you co-create with as being part of this act of creation. They are your co-create. It is your co-creator in this, and honoring things happening to you that are outside of your control, as opposed to framing them as evidence that, you know, it's working against you, or framing it as evidence that like that co-creator is your enemy in some way. It's blocking you towards your obstacles or blocking you towards your goals, instead of trusting like maybe that force is seeing things that I can't see. You know, maybe not having this month for whatever reason is going to help me in the long run. I don't have the full picture. And I never will. I am one tiny speck of consciousness in the sea of consciousness. And so having an attitude of trust rather than constant resistance can only help you in feeling good on this journey, which is about sharing control, instead of constantly suffering because you either believe you're not in control at all, or you believe you're completely in control, and then you're frustrated when things don't go your way. I hope this message is uplifting and helpful, Aries. Check out your other placements. I love you very much. I'll see you next month. Hi, Taurus. Welcome to your October reading. What are the messages for Taurus for October? Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Taurus, we have the Knight of Swords. We have the Queen of Pentacles. We have the Seven of Pentacles. Really great clear message this month for you. Taurus, what I'm seeing is a clashing of wills this month. So Knight of Swords, I'm seeing this as you this month. You're making some very snap judgments this month, really relying a lot on your intellect, your logic, your rationale, which no doubt are assets to have. You know, they're not necessarily bad, they're not necessarily also always good. You might be leaning towards the end of putting too much value on your brain this month, too much value on those judgments you're making, your ability to be an accurate, unbiased judge, and taking away value from other power sources within you, other ways of knowing. And I say that because the Knight of Swords is the most reckless of all the knights. The Knight of Swords kind of just wants to jump into action because he's so certain that his judgments are correct, that what he thinks is the truth. And so he's just immediately ready to jump into action. And sometimes it requires, what's actually required is a moment to think, a moment to analyze, a moment to ask our other knowing centers, our heart, our gut, what truths they are reflecting, because this may or may not be aligned with the actual truth. Your truth might or might not be aligned with the truth of someone else, or the truth of others, or even just universal truth. So this is a tough place to be in, because it's kind of like this anxiousness, this antsiness to act, and really wanting to get your hands dirty, really wanting to jump into the weeds and get something done. But if you knew that the information you had actually may not be correct, you still have that urge to get your hands in there, the way that you did when you thought you were completely right, and there's no doubt that there's no doubt that you are right. If this card were telling you right now, actually there's a chance you might be wrong, would that action still be obvious to you? The obstacle this month is someone who's, this is very interesting. This could be someone else who's butting heads with you, someone who, has this very nurturing, maybe mentoring energy, someone who really you rely on in a great many ways, especially Pentacles ways, very physical ways, someone who provides you like physical love and care, whether that is through, physical touch, like literally your caretaker, taking care of you when you're ill, or through mechanisms like money, financially supporting you, providing you food, providing you shelter. This is someone who really has your physical back in the world, and is incredibly trustworthy. And for whatever reason, they might be providing some alternative viewpoint to this Knight of Swords part of you that you feel like is really annoying. Like you see them as the conflict, not what you're thinking as the conflict, not what you're thinking and the disagreement as being a source of important, or there's something important that needs a further look, but rather it's like, if this person was just not in my way, then I could get done what I have to get done. Conversely, this also could just be a version of you, this Queen of Pentacles. This could just be you, the part of yourself that you trust the most, like the deepest part of yourself in your gut, the part of yourself that you go to and you hear that quiet, like steady voice of knowing. And she is saying something very different from this Knight of Swords part of you that's like, quick, react immediately. And that could be creating this inner conflict with you between the part of yourself that I would say is not the obstacle here, actually the part of yourself you should trust, versus what is likely your ego, making a desperate attempt to protect itself, protect a certain ideology that it identifies with, etc. All the reasons the ego reacts. Also, the most obvious one, of course, to protect yourself against something that you're afraid of. The ego is always acting from a place of fear, and oftentimes when we are reacting as opposed to consciously acting, it's coming from a place of fear, not a place of deep, loving trust. The advice here is actually to push through whatever this is, or push through this situation that maybe you feel called to, like, spontaneously, reactively change, mix something up, like draw your sword and really like rock the boat. This is saying actually push through the same exact way that you have been pushing through. But you know, all sevens mean that in tarot of like pushing through tedious stages and stages of conflict, because you're very close to the end. But what I will say is that the Seven of Pentacles has this special quality of identifying what you are trying to manage that actually isn't yours to manage. Sometimes I call this the micromanagement card. Understanding that certain micromanaging or certain things that you think you have to manage actually are none of your business to manage, and maybe that is what you feel called to react to, what you feel called to start swinging your sword at, and the truth is actually that's not worth the fight. Not only is it not worth the fight, it's not your fight. Seven of Pentacles is like allowing we see this garden growing inside her. It's about allowing things that have already taken root, things that are already growing themselves, that have inertia, that have momentum, trusting that those are going where they're going to go, and that your attention is needed towards other seedlings, areas where there are real opportunities to actually change something from the start by growing it a different way, as opposed to changing direction halfway through, changing someone like well into their life. Like, it's never a good idea to go on a mission to change somebody else because they have their own momentum, inertia taking them that really is none of your business. We can affect each other, of course, but it's never your job, and it can't be your job to change someone else. I also think it's really significant here that these are both Pentacles cards, where it's like we're choosing between Swords and Pentacles, and the advice is Pentacles. So again, these feel very connected, tending to the garden that is yours, and there being great trust and deep trust and grounding in that realm. The Pentacles part of you, the Queen of Pentacles part of you, is the one that needs your attention and management. It's not so much this Knight of Swords part. Check out your other placements, Taurus, for a more complete picture that you are. I love you very much. I'm rooting for you as always, and I'll see you next time. Hi, Gemini. Welcome to your October reading. This is good for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What are the messages for Gemini? Okay, these cards flew right out. We have the Four of Wands, Four of Cups in reverse, and the King of Swords. You are in a place of celebration this month. This is the honeymoon card. You're celebrating some kind of newfound stability, security, achieving something that you have wanted, because this is Wands, of course. That is wonderful. What I'm seeing as the obstacle here is really interesting. It's not disillusionment or disenchantment, which is how we interpret this one. This is upright, but actually like a re-enchantment with life, being re-excited by things, and that may be almost feeling scary or threatening, especially to your newfound stability and security. If that's not resonant, this also could be the disenchantment or disillusion of someone else, that feels like an obstacle or like a threat to your own happiness and security. This person could just be feeling like whatever, this is the same thing over and over and over again, and maybe they're even framing your whatever this good thing is for you in that lens, and that's really unfair to you, and that's not your truth, and it doesn't have to be. It feels like it's taking extra work to overcome this person's perceptions about your life or your success, and that is not your job, and it's really not something that you should be devoting energy to or should have to be devoting energy to. It's really important to remember that that's theirs and it's not yours, even if the subject matter is your life. For those of you who the first thing was more resonant for, kind of the end of like this pattern of receiving the same thing over and over again and being really jaded, really like, oh, this says the same thing. I'm bored. I'm disillusioned. This is a big shift for you. It's not the same thing over and over again. This is something new. This is a new opportunity to start fresh, and it is exciting. It's you might feel this part of yourself, the enchanted part of yourself, waking up again and becoming hopeful about things in your life, excited and enchanted by things in your life. And that's not something to be feared. It only feels scary to you because you maybe were in this pattern of Four of Cups for so long, where you'd really actually gotten comfortable in this place of just expecting the same thing over and over again, even if it was horrible, even if you hated it and were sick of it. That became a comfort zone. So of course, when something good happens and it pulls you out of that comfort zone, even if it's exciting and sparks interest and curiosity and passion in you, it could be that the sparking of those things is very scary, because it means you have to care about something again. It means you're suddenly caring about something again, which of course, every time we care, fear comes along with that, fear of losing the thing we care about. The advice, King of Swords, is to remember that you have a rational mind here. You can really rationally, logically judge this situation. However, not even your incredibly rational, logical mind, this intellect that you have that is really admirable, not even that is always right. And that especially when we rely only on our intellect, only on our rationale, that's when we run into problems, because it's not always batting a perfect score. And we have to remember that as a human being, we will always have bias that we have to account for. When you really are able to close that gap between being the great judge that you are, the great thinker, logical thinker that you are, the great rationalist that you are, when you're really able to go the extra mile in that department, is when you also are able to take into account your own bias and step outside of those moments when you are judging a situation that is being manipulated by your own fear, meaning your judgments are being manipulated by your own fears and doubts. When you're able to actually see that, then you've reached that King of Swords mastery. So judge things as rationally as you can, and remember that there's always room for error. And when you acknowledge that, that's what opens you up to then really, no, let me rephrase that. That's what improves your chances of seeing truth in every situation, no matter how personally you are affected by it. Check out your other placements, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, for a more complete picture of the unique puzzle that you are. I love you very much. I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you next time. Hi, Cancer. Welcome to your October reading. This is good for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What are the messages for Cancer? Nine of Wands, Eight of Pentacles in reverse, and the Page of Pentacles upright. Okay, what I'm seeing for you, Cancer, is Nine of Wands. You're in this position this month where your experience may be tested. You are this really accomplished warrior in whatever battlefield comes to mind for you. You've really gone through it. You've really lived it. You've gained this absolutely precious wisdom from the experiences that you've been through, that you could not get any other way than having been through it. And it's made you so well defended. It's made you, it's put you in a position where it's like, it doesn't matter how hard something is, you can reach it because you've proven that to yourself so many times now before. You're very close to, you're closer to achieving the things than you've ever, to achieving the things you want than you've ever been before. Of course, this puts us in a position sometimes of really walking the fine line between being well defended versus being overly defensive, keeping ourselves locked in as opposed to keeping the things we don't want out. And we have to be very careful with that Nine of Wands to make sure that we're defending ourselves from the things that genuinely actually aren't good for us, and not from the things that actually would expand us, challenge us, which also sometimes can feel threatening, but it's a different kind of threatening. What you're seeing as your obstacle in this situation, maybe the thing that you feel very defensive towards, is this kind of I'm hearing like ending of being on a pipeline, like feeling like everything, like your path was made for you and now you're kind of thrown off that path, or now the path has been thrown out the window. Or maybe even you've reached mastery in something, like you've come to the end of the road of an education, and it's like, great, now it's time for me to go out and do that, and it feels very threatening to you. It feels very scary. It's like, I'm not prepared for this, or what I'm good at actually is being on this path, not getting to the end of the path, and then what? So it also feels like, Eight of Pentacles is very much like, it's like this methodical approach to something, like a routine. So it could also be something as simple as like a routine being destroyed. Something, the path becoming less, it's not linear anymore. It's now become complicated. Complex in some way, and it's that complication that feels like an obstacle to this great defense system that you've built. It's like, I thought I was on this path and it would keep me, it was part of the way that I defended myself based on everything I've learned and everything I've experienced, and now that has changed, and so it feels like this threat to your security system in a way. What I'm hearing for the advice is to ground yourself in what you know to be true. Not what you think to be true, not what you think is likely true, but actually what you can see with your own eyes and feel, with your own hands. Like, what are the resources right in front of you, available to you, and can you ground yourself in those resources? I'm also seeing that while it feels like an education is coming to an end, what's really happening is you're becoming a student again now in the next phase. And it feels scary because you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be the master now, but actually no, you're just starting a new cycle. And maybe your title has changed in some way, maybe your position has changed in some way, but really you're just re-entering the part of student again. You're re-entering that phase of student again. Even the most distinguished, masterful people still learn, and are put in new situations where they need to learn and start over and have a clean slate and admit what they don't know. And this is that place for you. It's admitting that while you may have learned so much and done it really well, you're allowed to actually say, like, I don't know. This is something new to me. I'm building a new foundation. I'm starting something new. And that actually makes you a better soldier, a better person, more reliable person in this battle, whatever that is. But also like a more complete human being, because you're not just on this narrow pipeline, defining yourself only by this one thing anymore, by this one path. You're branching out, you're expanding in different directions now, not just this one road. And that is necessary for this next stage of growth for you. Really cool stuff, Cancer. I encourage you to watch your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, for a more complete picture of the unique puzzle that you are. I love you very much. I'll see you next time. Hi, Leo. Welcome to your October reading. This is good for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What are the messages for Leo? Leo. Death, Knight of Swords, and the High Priestess. Wow. Really beautiful, Leo. There is a total death cycle happening for you in October. Something is ending and something is being reborn. You're being reborn. Something is being born in your life. What a powerful way to start October. What's most important is to remember that death cycles are natural. They're not a result of you doing something good or bad, failing or succeeding in a certain way. It doesn't matter what the conditions are. If it's part of a death cycle, it means it was inevitable. And more than anything, it's important to honor natural cycles, the cycles of nature that are inevitable. Because they're just part of the nature of our existence. So when we find ourselves in a place of resisting an ending, resisting a death that was going to happen regardless and is going to happen regardless, we only extend our suffering. And it's almost like just kind of telling the universe that we don't understand how it works, or, you know, like we refuse to live by the laws of nature, which of course is not possible. So it's very futile, and it really only ends up hurting us the most, because every death, of course, is an opportunity. It goes right alongside birth. And when we delay this death, what we're also delaying is this next chapter of our life. We're delaying our rebirth. We're delaying this leveling up. And we often are delaying something that could be a miraculous transformation for us. What I'm seeing is, oh, that's so funny. I should have really looked at this before I spoke. What I'm seeing is that there's a kind of recklessness in you right now, or maybe with someone else around you, but this is upright, so it makes me feel like it's you. Knight of Swords, like wanting to just take action, like reacting maybe, behaving very reactively to whatever this ending is, to certain conditions in your life that are crumbling, that may be changing and transforming because of this death cycle. I'm seeing this kind of reactivity. And, you know, that could be a form in this situation of resistance, because surrendering to death means setting down your sword. This Knight of Swords is picking it up and is fighting. It's like this reactive response to something that we have no chance against. What's also important to remember is that the Knight of Swords thinks he knows everything, but he doesn't. He thinks he has all the information, but he doesn't. And that, like, viciousness, that righteousness that he has when he storms the battlefield, like ready to take action and do what is right, actually could be completely based on false information. It could be completely coming from assumptions and falsehoods and feelings which aren't facts. And if we know that, would we still act the same way? Probably not. So this is like a good reminder that your judgment here, whatever your judgment is with this Knight of Swords that is making you want to react, take a second look at it, because it may really be misleading you. And I want to say it is misleading you, because the advice is the High Priestess, which is getting in touch with your intuition, pulling the veil back, that separates your conscious from your subconscious, looking deep inside yourself, maybe in areas that have been in shadow that you just don't want to access, things you don't want to think about in this situation. But if you actually were to examine those things that live deep inside you, you know, if you were to listen to that little voice that is your intuition, that's speaking very calmly, quietly, respectfully, you might have a conversation that would be scary, but it would be rooted in truth. And this is saying to honor that small voice in you, that knowing, especially if it's coming from somewhere that's outside of your logical mind. This feels very much like your logical mind is fighting with your intuition. We think about the intuition being in the brain. It's not. It lives elsewhere in the body. It's completely absent from our brains. It's not related to the mind. So sometimes it makes it hard for these two to fight each other, because Knight of Swords, you know, swords energy is like, well, here's my logic, here's my reasons. And the High Priestess doesn't function that way. Intuition doesn't function that way. Intuition is that knowing that comes from the most divine, deep place of ourselves, and it lives outside of logic and rationale. It's like knowing something almost magically, feeling like, I don't know why this is true, but I know it's true. And that makes us want to quiet this voice a lot of the time, because it feels mysterious, because we can't explain it. That's not reason to silence it. In fact, if we are engaging with our intuition in a healthy way, we're allowing it to start conversations with us where we wonder and question and become curious, even if we don't come up with answers explaining the mysteriousness of how this part of us knows something. At least the conversation is explorative and puts, you know, makes us aware of things that we need to maybe be aware of and be considering, especially regarding this cycle for you ending and this rebirth happening. I hope that was helpful, Leo. I definitely encourage you to check out your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. I love you very much. I'll see you next time. Hi, Virgo. Welcome to your October reading. This is good for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What are the messages for Virgo for October? Okay, Virgo, so we have Nine of Wands, the Emperor, and the Page of Cups. So Virgo, what I'm seeing for you is that you have accomplished things this month, or you are accomplishing things that you've worked very hard for, that you've sacrificed a great deal for, and that have really taught you very important lessons. They've made you a better warrior in the world. You know how to defend yourself and defend your desires, your goals very well. Of course, the other side of the Nine of Wands is becoming overly defensive. It becomes more about not protecting the parts of us that we need to protect, but instead keeping things out that might even be good for us, keeping like anything out. You know, it's like another way of saying that. It's like not just keeping out the things that aren't right for us, but keeping out the things that, all the things, keeping out all the things for us. And that is just that difference between being well defended versus defensive. So maybe you're in a place this month where you're trying to distinguish those things for you, especially as you get very close to something that you want, or you have achieved certain things that you want. And that's, of course, opening up more questions, because we often think the journey ends when we get the thing that we want, when in fact that just begins a new journey. The Emperor is here as the obstacle to this Nine of Wands achievement. Nine of Wands, like, I'm also hearing like some gaining of like a new title or gaining of respect, like becoming this like, you know, weathered warrior that people like look up to and ask for advice in some way. but there's something about a system that is feeling particularly like threatening to your way of doing things, or the things that you've learned from personal experience. It's like some sort of like universal structure, societal structure, or common narrative, something that is like, this is the way the world works, these are the rules, this is the order, that feels threatening or is feeling like it's getting in the way of you doing things the way you've learned you have to do them, from real experience. It's like someone's projecting rules and order onto you that you never asked for, and you don't want to operate in that system. This also could be a literal person who's representing that for you, someone who's incredibly domineering, very masculine energy, who's like coming in and trying to order you around, and you're saying, trust me, like I've lived my life, I've done this way, and I actually know better. I know you're an expert in some way, or I know that you're in this position of power, you have this crown, but you can't have this power over my path, because it's my path by definition. So it's really like you against the man this month is what I'm hearing. You against the man in some way, and you're really pushing back. Your way might be upside down. It's unconventional to this person, or this force, this energy. The advice with the Page of Cups is to be sure not to diminish yourself in the face of this power. There's a time for page energy. There's a time for admitting what we don't know, learning, becoming a student again. But this is not the time for that, especially regarding like what you feel. This is not the time to be diminishing your feelings, or just being like, oh, the problem must be me and how I'm feeling, how I'm reacting to this. I guess I should look at my feelings and see what I can do to change. For whatever reason, this is requiring some sort of boundary setting with another person or another force. It's not really about you working on yourself, or questioning your own feelings and doing introspective work in that way. It's like you actually know what you know, and your feelings, of course, are never facts, but they're helpful. And this isn't a time to minimize those feelings. This isn't a time to say, I don't know, I guess I have a lot to learn with what I'm feeling. It's actually the time to exert your own authority up against this powerful force. If you want a more complete picture of all that you are, Virgo, check out your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, all your other placements. I'm using the timestamps below. I love you very much, and I'll see you next time. Hi Libra, welcome to your October reading. This is good for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Calling in Libra's guides and angels. What are the messages for Libra for October? Okay, Libra, we have the Three of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups. So the message for you, Libra, this month, you're finding yourself to be part of a team, some really collaborative effort, where everyone's working to create something greater than the sum of its parts. And you really are. You all have this sense of purpose and meaning, like you're all pitching in, and you know that the thing that you're creating is bigger than any one of you. And that's why it requires a team. That's why it requires this kind of magic that happens when we connect with other people, when we collaborate, especially creatively. So you're finding yourself on this team, part of this team. And what feels threatening right now is kind of I want to say like a slow pace, feeling like this is a bit of a marathon when maybe other people or competitors or anyone you might be comparing yourself to are sprinting around you, and it feels like, well, how could we possibly win? It feels like we're moving so slowly, and we're focused on these details right in front of us, and like we're actually like it feels like we're ignoring the destination because we're much more focused on like the literal world and each tiny baby step that we're taking. But the truth is, by having that kind of attention to detail in your present moment, you are thinking ahead. Because the people who are sprinting, the people who are moving more quickly, their eyes may be on the prize, but they're not watching their own feet. It's almost like looking so far ahead in the future that they miss things in the present moment. And this is a way that keeps you extremely grounded in the present moment, and it's like the merit of doing that is what gets you to the destination. I'm like hearing slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And that's really the message here. It feels like it's in opposition to how the team is working. It feels like somehow this is the obstacle to the teamwork happening, but actually this is the teamwork. This is the trick of how you all are working together and how you will prove to be successful. The advice, 8 of Cups, is to, if you have some kind of like emotional nagging about something, feeling like maybe something, okay, and this really does complement this message, something might look right on paper, like, great, this is fine, we can sign off on this and move ahead, but there's a part of you that feels like it's not right, and you can't maybe pick out why. But you're afraid of slowing down the process. You don't want this to be a marathon because you're calling attention to things that might be wrong, or moving away from things that you don't feel are right, or being like, actually, I think we have to try something different. I think we have to try something new. And I don't know why it is. I just know that this isn't up to par. This isn't up to my standards. It's not meeting something. It's missing something. It's missing a kind of je ne sais quoi. Definitely listen to that. Don't be caught up with timing. It's more important to pay attention to the emotional nagging that you feel if something is off. Even if you can't logically explain it in the moment, it's better to honor this than to ignore it just so that you can try to get to where you're going sooner. I hope this is helpful, Libra. Please check out your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, for a more complete picture of the unique puzzle that you are. I love you very much. I'll see you next time. Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your October reading. This is good for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Whoa, flew right out. Ace of Wands in reverse. Nope, that's way too many cards. What are the other messages for Scorpio for October? Okay, we have the Page of Wands, and oh my God, Scorpio, and the 9 of Cups. Wow. Scorpio, you may feel a total lack of inspiration and hope regarding your creative journey. You may feel really disconnected from your desires right now. Either you don't know what they are, or maybe they feel impossible to you. And so you're just like so separate from them. They feel very far away. Page of Wands is, that's so interesting. Page of Wands is in opposition to that. So at the same time, there's a part of you that like is so open right now. Like you really want to learn. You're like, teach me. And I'm an open book. Like I'm waiting to be, I'm asking for inspiration. I'm asking for the ideas. I'm asking to be re-enchanted with hope. I'm asking for clarity on my desires. I really want to ground my desires in something real. I want to start building a foundation towards my desires, towards my goals. And it's like that feels that urge that you have, it almost feels like a curse, because it's like, I have the urge, I have the want to have a want, like I desire to have a desire and the desire isn't there. You know, I want to act from my gut, I want to act from this place of fire, and the irony is that I don't know what my fire is for. Like, I don't know what it burns for, what I'm burning for, and it feels almost like, yeah, I'm hearing the word curse. Like, I wonder if you guys are feeling that, like, to have the proactiveness and desire to do something and then not really know what to do, or feel like you don't have anything to work with, is really hard. The advice, 9 of Cups. What an interesting card to be in the advice position, since this is the wish fulfillment card. This is the card of dreams coming true, wishes being fulfilled, getting what you want. I think seeing this in the advice position is just like saying, focus on the things that are being fulfilled for you. Focus on the wishes that have been granted and are being granted. You know, move your attention away from the holes in yourself, the things that are missing, to the cups that you already have filled, and act from that frequency. Because the longer that you live in this frequency of being like, not knowing and I'm panicking that I don't have this, of course what you resist persists. Whereas if you are operating from a place of being fulfilled, of feeling like you have enough, of feeling happy, you know, maybe it's just the issue of being like, it's hard to feel inspired when you don't feel emotionally well. These things go hand in hand. This is like, focus on that emotional well-being of yours. Make sure your cup is being filled. Make sure that you can, you're taking care of yourself emotionally. Make sure that you have some joy in your life, that you're getting joy, experiencing joy and peace and fulfillment, even in little ways on a daily basis, because it's from there that sparks can be lit. It's in that state of being that inspiration comes to you, that desire comes from you, because that desire comes for you because hope is here too. And it's very hard for us to connect with desires when we feel hopeless. When there's hope burning in us, we have inspirations, we have desires that come into our space because a part of us believes it's possible and we have excitement about it. But if there is no hope, there's no excitement, and there's nothing that's like, there's no kindling for any sparks of inspiration or desire that we might have. Definitely watch your other placements, Scorpio, your sun, moon, rising, and Venus, for a more complete picture of the unique puzzle that you are. I love you very much, and I will see you next time. Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to your October reading. This is good for Sag, sun, moon, rising, and Venus. What are the messages for Sagittarius? Okay, Sagittarius, we have Ace of Swords in reverse, the Magician in reverse, and the Seven of Wands in reverse. So what I'm seeing for you, Sag, is that you're in a place of kind of mental confusion. Maybe you just don't have clarity about something. Maybe you don't know the truth about something. It just feels like the truth is inaccessible to you. It also could be like a decision is out of reach for you. Just something mentally feels off, or like there's something mentally missing for you that you need access to, and that's making that's kind of the state that you're coming into October in. The Magician in reverse, it's interesting because these cards I usually see as like opposing each other, but I almost feel like they are complementing each other in this way, because the Magician, we see a block in the vessel that you are. You are the vessel, the connector between the unseen and the seen world. You know, you make things happen. You bring ideas into reality. You make beliefs real by acting on those beliefs. Decisions become actions. You know, this is the conductor, and that conductor, that bridge, for whatever reason, is blocked right now. It feels like maybe you're, oh no, but you aren't really receiving the ideas. So it's like you're not even receiving it. It's not like you're receiving it and holding on to it and then not knowing what to do to it. It feels, or do with it. It feels like you're just not receiving at all. And that's really frustrating right now when it comes to like being able to have all the information, make a decision, think through something. Like you're desperate for an idea and you're as like an answer and you're not getting that idea. Another way of reading this is that you're waiting for this idea to come to you, or you're waiting for this decision to be made. You're waiting for this information or truth to be revealed, mental clarity to come to you. And the obstacle is that you don't feel connected to something greater than yourself right now. You don't feel connected to unlimited potential. Part of the reason maybe that the truth isn't coming, or an idea isn't coming, or a decision isn't coming, is because you only see a very narrow path for yourself. You don't actually acknowledge the unlimited nature of potential, which the magician represents. And without acknowledging unlimited potential, it's hard then to receive an idea or make a decision or learn something that lives outside of the narrow definition of the potential that is available to you, that you are projecting onto that potential. You know, if like the idea that is meant for you, or the truth that is waiting to be known by you, the idea, whatever it is, the decision, if that lives somewhere, like floating really far out in the realm of potential that you're just not seeing because your vision is this for potential and it's out here, then of course that's going to oppose your efforts to turn this Ace of Swords around, to unblock this this mental clarity. The advice is, I don't think you're gonna like it, Sag. I mean, maybe you will, but it might be just some tough love truth you gotta hear. It's to stop fighting. This is not a time for pushing through at all costs. This is not a time for just keep doing what you're doing and pushing, you know, and fighting because you're so close to the end. It's not a time for that. It could be that the act of pushing is actually making this harder. What this might need is actually an energy of allowing, an energy of letting go, an energy of spaciousness. Maybe it's a letting go of what you think you do know already about this situation, or what you think you already know about what's possible for you, the potentials that are available to you. This is not a keep going moment. It's a stop and let go, and then see what new path might appear in front of you. The path that you've been on might not be the path that you continue walking. Maybe it is the same path, but maybe it's gonna look different. It's gonna shift in some way. Whatever it is, this is what needs to happen. Is a stop pushing, a stop fighting, and also I want to say too, I feel called to say, stop like advocating for what you think you want. You might be advocating for something that actually isn't right for you, or someone else here. This really is like a release of just like being like, actually, maybe I don't know best. And that's why I need to do this first in order to then allow for new things to come into my awareness. Powerful message, Sag. Definitely check out your other placements, your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I love you very much. I'll see you next time. Hi, Capricorn. Welcome to your October reading. This is good for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What are the messages for Capricorn? Okay, Capricorn, what I'm seeing for you this month is there's something that you know that you want. Some new desire has bloomed in you. Some new inspiration has come to you, a new creative idea. You feel like this is the start of something that your gut is leading you towards. You know, your desire is leading you towards a new goal. You have your eyes, you've just set your eyes on something, and there's excitement in that, of beginning that new path, excuse me. Queen of Pentacles is in opposition to that. So either there's someone who you look up to, who's maybe a mentor, who's extremely grounded and really dependable, trustworthy, really able to, you know, manage her or their physical world and resources with incredible skill. And maybe it's that connection to the physical world and like success in the physical world, understanding how the world works, that makes this person opposed to what your new desire is, or opposed to your idea that you're having, this spark of creative energy that you're having. Maybe they're just like saying that's not possible, or we can't actually make that happen in the world, like that's from out of this world. That also could be coming from you. Could be the Queen of Pentacles part of yourself that is very grounded, very connected to the physical world, really has certain resources at your fingertips, and maybe considering those resources, of which you have many. It's this Ace of Wands desire feels even outside of those resources. It feels like it comes from this other place that isn't logical, that isn't rational or grounded in any way. It's like, you know, it's like being one thing your whole life. You know, let's say you're an architect your whole life, and then just deciding, actually I want to be a singer, and you can be the best architect in the world, and that Queen of Pentacles part of you is saying like, well, I have all these resources available to me, but none of those resources support this new desire that I have. Six of Pentacles is the advice. Six of Pentacles in reverse, which is really telling. I think what it's saying is to look at like unbalanced power structures in your life that you have. You know, this makes us look at like the relationship between giving and receiving, and the balance between those things that we have with other people. Are we in a constant place of giving, or are we in a constant place of receiving? I'm almost seeing like a favor needs to be repaid, or something. If you've helped people a lot, this is the time now to call in certain favors from people. Another way of looking at this is just like karma with other people. Like, what have you done, good or bad, to other people, and how does reaping in that karmic law affect this situation? Does it affect this situation at all, and how you're seeing this? Also, this could be just about like how people see you. So people in powerful positions maybe have projected on you like, this is what you're capable of doing, and you've grown to fit that size fishbowl because someone else told you this is what you are and this is what you'll become. This requires a challenging of that. This requires a challenging of like other people's projections, and giving other people too much power over your own potential and your path. This is maybe requiring a reanalysis, a rejudgment of the power that you give to other people, what projections of theirs you accept, and also vice versa, like what you project onto other people. Maybe you're not giving someone credit to accept this path, or to be open to this Ace of Wands that just came in for you. Whatever this is like a reshuffling of just power dynamics in a certain relationship, and that is what is required to sort this out. Definitely check out your other placements, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I love you very much. I'll see you next time. Hi Aquarius, welcome to your October reading. This is good for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What are the messages for Aquarius for October? Knight of Wands, Aquarius, the Hanged Man. and the Four of Wands. Love to see that. Aquarius, there's something that you feel a great duty to go out and do, some adventure that you feel maybe was made for you, and you feel like ready to jump into action. It's not coming from a reactiveness like the Knight of or like a reactive, like too quick judgment, like the Knight of Swords. Knight of Wands also is quick to act, but it's an action that comes from our gut, a quick action that comes from our gut. And sometimes this spontaneity can be positive, and I think like you're in that right now in October, where you actually can trust your spontaneity, you can trust your reactiveness. Ironically, the thing that is opposing you is the Hanged Man, which is a waiting period. There are things outside of your control that are forcing you to wait on certain things, so you can't act. It feels like your hands are tied, or in this case, your foot is tied. And the beauty of that is that the Hanged Man isn't, what's important to remember is that the Hanged Man isn't just a waiting that's like for no reason. Your hands are tied in this particular position. Your foot is tied in this particular position. You've had to make this sacrifice ultimately for your own enlightenment. There's something about this waiting time that's serving as an incubation period. You're not fully cooked yet. Maybe this adventure isn't fully cooked yet, or maybe you're not fully cooked, meaning prepared to embark on this adventure in the way that you will be if you wait a little bit longer. You will have information that you need to have in order to go on this adventure, in order to react the way you want to react, but you need to wait a little bit longer. This sacrifice that you've made has put you in a position that feels incredibly uncomfortable, and it's actually, the discomfort has changed your perspective, and you're seeing things in a new light that you wouldn't see if you hadn't been put into this position of discomfort. You're seeing the world. It's like seeing the world from 180 degrees difference, and there's something about that new perspective, as uncomfortable as it is, that is making you wiser, that is giving you important information that you need for this. So this is serving you. You may be seeing this as an obstacle, when in fact it's actually the first part of the journey. So don't rush it. Don't rush that incubation time. You don't want to come out before you're ready. You want to know everything you need to know, have all the tools you need to have in order to start this. The advice actually is to celebrate in this moment of discomfort. Find the things about this that make you feel stable, secure. What about this situation that you're in is an effort, like affirms your ability to get what you want. Like, what have you wanted about just this point in the journey that now you have? Focus on that and relish in that, because there's something about this that is setting you up for a very stable and secure beginning as you launch into this adventure. Really cool stuff, Aquarius. I would love to hear how this looks specifically for you, so feel free to comment below. Check out your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I'll see you next time. Hi Pisces, welcome to your October reading. This is good for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What are the messages for Pisces? Pisces, Three of Cups, Four of Cups, the Chariot. Pisces, you're in a place this month, October, of real support, real connection to people, and fulfillment from your relationships, feeling so intimately connected to your friends, to your loved ones, your family, feeling yourself being part of a community. I think some of you have needed that and wanted that for a while, and that's coming in October, which is really wonderful to see. There's also creativity that comes from connection, right? It's a 3, and so it's a good reminder that when we feel really connected to others, that's when new things are made. And sometimes those are literal things, sometimes those are figurative things. Like we make a project together, or we make trust together. And so there's some beautiful like opportunity for creation in these connections that you have in October. The obstacle to that is a feeling maybe of jadedness that you really need to guard against, a feeling of being disillusioned or disenchanted with your life. Like this is just the same old thing over and over again. Oh yeah, I'm being offered a cup. Well, it's going to be just like all the other cups. And this comes from not, let me just put it this way, this comes from feelings. This doesn't come from fact. There's nothing that suggests that our conditions will continue. No, let me put it this way. We don't have such control over our conditions that we create the same exact thing for ourselves over and over and over again simply by affirming, this is all I get. Yeah, I know we like to think that we're that powerful sometimes, and certainly like our attitude can affect that a lot. But we're also co-creating with the wills of so many other people, and with divine will. And so sometimes we're even surprised, even if we are doing all we can energetically to keep ourselves in a state of boredom, disillusionment, disenchantment. Things still can happen even in that state that pull us out of it. So it's important to remember that this is a mindset or heart set more than the truth. The truth is that creation comes from this connection that you're experiencing in October. You can create anything from that. A lot can be created from that. So if you're telling yourself that it can't be, if you're telling yourself that this emotional fulfillment is nothing new, it's not special in any way, it's not an opportunity, then you can make it not be an opportunity. But if you really keep this mindset, heart set in check, and you question it and you push against it, then you may be able to see this in all the newness that it is. You may be able to see this as something, as almost like a new start, a clean slate. You can make this be what you want it to be emotionally, because you'll be feeling that good. And it's more important than anything to be feeling the right way to create what you want to create, than really even like what resources you have available to you. The Chariot is about, seeing the Chariot in reverse is interesting because the Chariot upright means willpower and like making a decision and keeping your eyes on the prize. What I'm actually seeing is a giving up of willpower, but it's the giving up of willpower of this obstacle, of staying true to this obstacle, of being like it. What I'm hearing is that in October it will take more effort, more willpower for you to be affirming this story for yourself than to be surrendering into the joy and emotional fulfillment of this one. And so what is required to face this obstacle is to give up willpower, to give up that white knuckling of trying to stay disenchanted or keep repeating some negative story, even when the universe is showing you the complete opposite. Even when the universe is giving you evidence in your own life of the complete opposite. It really is requiring, you don't need to have willpower to keep this part alive. In fact, you'd be better if you let go and move with the flow of what October is bringing you, which is this Three of Cups. Surrender willpower, the willpower you have to be jaded. Surrender the willpower you have to be loyal to some negative story about what always happens to you and what you always get and how it's more of the same thing over and over again. Definitely check out your other signs, your other placements, Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I love you very much, and I'll see you next time.